Okay. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Today we have our podcast with Christine Bove. I want to welcome you all to Off the Scale, the podcast that takes a refreshing and simplified approach to health. I'm your host, Helen Burney, and together with Christine, today we'll explore a world where well-being isn't measured in pounds or calories, and we'll be talking about what it's like to get dressed and to dress for your body and to dress for your passion and for the rest of your life. In a society obsessed with scales and numbers, today we are here to help you break free from conventional norms. We're going to dive into a realm where health is about feeling good, nourishing your body, and embracing a balanced lifestyle without the need for constant counting, weighing, or portioning, or worrying about what to wear. Join me each week as we unravel the secrets to a healthier, happier life. It's time to shift the focus from the scale to the incredible journey of self-discovery and well-being. Get ready to go off the scale with us through this insightful conversation with Christine and practical tips that will empower you on your path to a healthier and more fulfilling life. Let's embark on this transformative journey together. Welcome, everybody, and thank you all for tuning in. One of the top concerns I hear from women is, I just want to fit in my old jeans. I get it. We get it. We've definitely been there. But staying in that lack and wanting place doesn't really get us anywhere. And it wasn't until I personally stopped yearning for what was and I started dressing for confidence now that I finally started to get my energy back and lose weight naturally. It's like bringing an umbrella and you don't have to worry about the rain. Bring your best self forward and dress for success in clothes that feel good and look good, and you won't have to worry about that gloomy feeling around your clothes anymore. I know you don't want to buy a new wardrobe and risk losing weight and then dealing with that. You also don't want to buy a new wardrobe and risk gaining weight and decide that you're that size now. This is what I hear from women over and over again. But that place keeps you stuck spinning your wheels in what is and what might be. So you can either commit to ending the diet desire roller coaster by honoring the body you have today in the clothes that make you feel amazing, or you can continue down that path. So let's go to the empowered way with lifelong results and not hop back on the diet roller coaster dreaming about those old pants. Today, let's talk about this with some help from Christine Bove. So Christine, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So you're a stylist, a feng shui expert. You offer services that bring tangible benefits to career-driven women. You assist in their style transformation, particularly when they're stepping into leadership roles that require increased visibility. Your guidance helps women create a professional image that aligns with their core values and enhancing their personal brand. You curate personalized wardrobes to attract new opportunities. And I really wanted to bring you on today because a lot of the work that I do is helping women develop a vision for their best selves. And I know that dressing for that and your passion for helping women dress for success in leadership roles, and particularly for who they want to be on the inside, is really important. And I'd love to know, how did you get into that?
Well, this was a long journey, and I think it was more that in high school, I was very into the fashion programs that we were offering in high school. And then I just didn't feel like I had the confidence to go to fashion schools. So luckily, several years ago, I was working in corporate America and I found feng shui. And when I found feng shui, I just opened the door to who I was. It was like this was going to lead me to understand why I was very intuitive, how to understand my energy, why in my environment and clothes they were impacting me. And I had even hired a stylist about maybe like a year or two before that for myself. I had met her at a networking event and took a workshop with her. And it was wonderful. I had her come to my home. It was a big investment for me. And we went shopping in New York City and it was great. And I had all these new clothes, but there was something missing. And what was missing for me was at that time, I wasn't happy in my job. And so I wasn't feeling fulfilled. And so I think I thought at that time that the wardrobe would be a great transformation and really create this clarity around it. And I think it did come a little bit later on. And that's how I found feng shui. But the feng shui doors opened me up to understand energy, to understand the environment. And then in there, I was learning about fashion feng shui, and I became a licensed fashion feng shui practitioner. And through those tools, I started just to see how much women were wanting different things in their lives. And when they had me come in their homes, I helped them avoid foreclosure. I helped them get pregnant. I helped them transform their career. There were so many things that were happening. And then the wardrobe was bringing more clarity. I
Mm-hmm.
start to say that I get it. I get these energy blocks. And our clothes and our homes were doing this to us without us understanding it. So that was the tool of how I started to understand it. So I recently rebranded because I started to see my own process in there where every time you're elevating, every season, every career change, every promotion you have, and when you're losing weight, especially, you're becoming a new person.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I would often hear people say, I'll give you a call, Christine, when I lose the weight. And I'm like, but we got to make space for the new you.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the work that I've done made me to realize that when women are in career transitions or they want to be seen and recognized, they're waiting too much on something else to happen before they step into that role. And that's where I started to change and I started to rebrand and say there's something so much more here. I want to help women focus on the wardrobe first, because when you get that in place, you go out more, you get seen more, everything else starts to come together. And that's where the journey just transformed me to this work.
Oh my God, I have chills right now. Everything you said resonates so much with the work that I do as well, just helping women realize their full potential before they start to take the weight off, because you can live in the powerful body and mind and self-love that you are today before any of that even happens. And it's almost like a manifesting
Yeah,
of who you are going to be. So you
yeah,
don't have to wait for it. You get to have it right now.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what kind of what would you say to women who are desiring to change their look and want to elevate themselves, but they are stuck in that place of wanting the weight loss or wanting to be a different size until they start working with you? What can we think about clothing and about getting dressed that can help us kind of get over that hump?
So the most important thing is to ask yourself, what is the energy I want to feel?
Mhm.
So for some women, if you are stepping up into a leadership role or there is any type of leadership, doesn't always mean that you're stepping into like a leadership role, but maybe you're creating a new product, maybe you're stepping out in a new way for your business, maybe you're single. There's so many ways that leadership can be there. But that's a power word. And if you think about that word, you think about things that are structured, elevated, elegance. And
Mhm.
so if you're feeling that way, that's one of the keywords that might pull you towards wearing something like a more structured suit, a more structured top or bottom. Then I really like to keep it simple to 3 words. Then there's the creative person, where maybe you step into a role of your life where you need to be creative. Maybe you're launching something new or you're are in a role in your company where you have to be more creative. So how can your clothes honor the creativity of the person you're becoming? Or you are totally burnt out. You are exhausted. It's like your adrenals are completely wiped out. Your body, like you don't want to do anything. You
Mhm.
need to add more play to your life. So
Mhm.
how can you work with colors, shapes, and textures to bring in the more joyful energy that you have? If you think about it, when we were a child, we went out, we had play clothes, right? And then
Yeah.
you had your dress clothes. So
Yeah.
we're still kind of in that energy. So when you're thinking about what it is that you need, spring, summer, that we're going into the summer season, what is going to happen this season? Are you recovering? Like, are you a teacher who was totally burnt out and the summer you need to like recreate yourself and bring in the playful energy? What clothes are going to honor that? Are you maybe launching something, or you're stepping into a new career role, or you're taking the summer to build yourself into that new career role? How are we going to bring in that power energy? So think of what your goal is, and I like to keep it within 90 days, and then think of the words that are going to honor the energy of who you are becoming.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. So you're setting these goals for yourself and you're thinking about who do I want to become. You're coming up with these words: structured, important, leader, or maybe it's creative, relaxed, maybe it's playful. And when you can identify those words, then you can kind of match the clothes to go
Yeah.
with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you work with people on identifying their words? Like they come to you with their vision and then you kind of extract the words from it and in like a mindset kind of
Yeah.
session?
So the first session I do is a style assessment. And that's where I go in and I'm really interviewing them to find out where they're at. So I can start to hear, I need to know what kind of textures and fabrics they like. I need to know what
Mhm.
their body shape is. I need to know all these questions. So in that style assessment is where we come up with this formula of the 3 key words. And there's more in depth, it gets more customized, but
Sure.
I don't like to overwhelm people. So I keep it to 3 simple words until they're working with me where we get it more refined.
Yeah, amazing. So you really take the pressure off of the body and put the emphasis on their life and the life that they want to live. And
Yeah.
that reminds me so much. I always tell my clients, I'm like, we're going to get off the scale and into your life. We're taking the pressure off the scale and we're getting into your body. And the more you can connect with your body, the more you're disconnecting from societal expectations and norms and really understanding yourself. And like you said, removing some of those blockages that are keeping you stuck exactly where you are. We're literally limiting our potential when we're going on diets or we're not dressing for success or for who we want to be. So we keep bringing our attention to that. And I love how clothing, you wear it every day.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminds me of like your own personal vision board. Like you've got a vision board that you make and you're like, this is who I'm going to become and my words that I'm going to have, but you're dressing in it. You're like immersing yourself every day in the vision of who you want to become.
Yeah. And in feng shui, we talk about the closet as it represents your
Mhm.
subconscious mind. And so there's different parts of the home that all have that energy. But I always would give my talks and say that energy of your closet every morning, because we're entering it every day.
Yeah.
And if we are frustrated in the morning, I've got nothing to wear. Um, and you have a lot of frustrations getting ready in the morning, that energy dumps into the space. So if you feel like I've been really frustrated with my wardrobe, and then all of a sudden, every time you go to get dressed, that feeling comes back, it's because you've created that. You
Yes.
created that space. And this is why cleaning out the closet and making room for the new you is so important, because you want to take that old energy and release it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because if we're entering into the closet and we're generating that energy of frustration,
Yeah, it
that
just
energy
snaps
comes
on.
back to us,
Yes.
right? And then we look in the mirror and we're frustrated, and then we don't like what we wear, and then we don't like what we see, and then we start hyper fixating on our bodies, and then we say there's something wrong with me. When we could actually step into our light and into our power and how we want to feel by wearing the clothes that fit us, that feel amazing, making clearing out that clutter of the, as I said in the beginning, like holding on to those old jeans that it's like, oh, my pre-mom jeans or my, whatever stories we tell ourselves about, like those are the jeans that make me worthy of being a human being. I know you all know what I'm talking about. Would you say just get rid of them?
Yeah, because here's how, I mean, if you talk to any stylist, we all agree on this one thing. It's that I always say, why are you going backwards?
Oh yeah.
Because those genes kind of led you to where you are now. Don't you want to create the new you? That's not going to go backwards. And so when we're leaving them in there, it's like we almost punish ourselves. I'm still not there yet. I'm still not there yet. you know, I've got to get there. No, 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 no. You got to look at it and you got to make space and you got to say, girl, I'm a new person.
Hmm.
I'm a new energy. I've got a new mindset and I've got to make space for that person in there. So you've got to let go of those clothes. And for some people, it's going to be a little bit of a time where you might just have a small amount of clothes. But if you are wearing, we only wear 20% of our wardrobe. And I want to get my clients, I say to my clients, I want you wearing 100% of what's in
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
So there is a feeling of like, I don't have anything to wear, or I've got 5 or 6 or 7 great pieces that complement my body type, complement where it is. And when you're wearing those pieces that make you feel good, your cells are in alignment with source. Your cells operate on a higher level. And then you're easily going to make better decisions to work out more or choose different foods or do those things because the clothes on your body feel so good.
Yeah.
And you will continue to do that if you just say to myself, okay, this is where I am right now. And my closet is going to get fuller with more beautiful clothes, but the right clothes to complement my body type. And
Hmm.
I can't emphasize that more because when you put on clothes that make you look and feel good, you are going to go to work much happier. You're going to be happier with your family. You're going to be happier with your friends because your body is wearing clothes that complement its gorgeous, whole unit that you have.
Yeah. What would you say, because I hear this limiting belief all of the time, and there is a reality to it, but I know that when I clear clutter, like abundance comes in. What
Yeah.
would you say to somebody who's like, "Well, I don't want to get rid of my old clothes because I don't want to buy anymore." Like people treat it so much as like this exact transaction, like if I get rid of something, then I need the money. Then we get into that need space, right? Then I need the money in order to be able to get the new clothes. And people are
Hmm.
so resistant to that.
That's a good point. So, what I like to say is create your fashion fund
Mhm.
because when you start putting away $25 or $50 a month, a week, or whatever you can put away, and you all of a sudden realize that maybe you have 500, 800, or $1,000 to go buy a new wardrobe, that feels a lot different than trying to buy maybe each week, your paycheck or what I have here and there. And so think of it as an investment in treating yourself and taking care of yourself. Because when you know that you're putting that money there, it feels good because then you're not depriving yourself of anything else, right? When
Yeah.
you have that savings account. So make a little fashion fund and keep treating yourself and keep putting the money in there. And then look at it. And when you say, wow, what could I go buy with $1,000? It's a different mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it also reminds me of, when I'm coaching people through like their health and they're like, oh, I don't want to spend the money. I'm too afraid and all of that. It's like, how much money will you save on health complications and health bills down the road? How
Yeah.
much money are you going to save on ordering out all of the time? How much money are you going to save when you can just, settle down and make yourself a cup of coffee at home? All of these things help you save. And what a beautiful way to also honor yourself is to save that money to put towards the wardrobe that suits you and the person who you wanna become.
It's similar to when people say, "Oh, I'll go into this store and I get these things on sale." But if they only last you a season,
Mhm.
that is not saving you money.
Yeah.
And then the next season you got to buy more. So I think there's way a lot of mindset beliefs behind this. I had a client one time who was I mean, she was a young girl, but she was doing very well in the financial world. But her upbringing, her mother always bought things on sale. So when we were in her closet, I was quite surprised for somebody who was at such a high level of financial work. She had so many things that had the tags on it because her mother always taught her to buy it on sale. And when you get rid of all those clothes, if you write down the amount of money approximately about what you're getting rid of, you're going to be surprised. I mean, those things, we probably had a good couple, maybe $1,000 worth of
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
And even though she was such a financial savvy woman, she still had an imprint from her mom saying, we should always buy on the sales rack.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's things that we were taught. But if you have pieces in your closet that are lasting you for 3 to 4 years, and I see women pull out pieces that are timeless and they
Mhm.
get compliments on it all the time, that's how you want to build your closet because then you're saving money and time, but
Yeah.
your confidence is elevated. And then all abundance is coming into you because you feel good. And abundance only comes when you're feeling good.
Yep, yep, I 100% agree, and it reminds me of, unwinding a lot of the diet culture
Yeah.
noise and all the stories that we tell ourselves because of what we were told or taught by our mothers, particularly if you were like 80s, 90s kid. It's like Jenny Craig, Weight
Yeah.
Watchers, all of those types of diets that our parents or our mothers would adhere to in order to lose weight. And we're like sitting there watching it and listening to the language and the way that they spoke to themselves. And even some of my clients, the way that their parents spoke to them about their bodies. And we also need to unwind that. And the more we can let go of that to make space for the positive thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, the more abundance comes in. And even I see people have financial breakthroughs because they have health breakthroughs,
Yeah,
and it's the same
absolutely.
with your clothing. Like, we get so worried and stuck about thinking about the money part, that we tend to not take as many risks to be able to welcome in the full joy and abundance that's actually possible when you let go of old stories that you tell yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about dressing for body types. I think that that would be a really amazing thing to just to offer anybody who's listening, because they're probably like, "Oh, that's all well and fine, but I have a hard time accepting my body or my body type or the way that I am." And I work with women of all shapes and sizes. Could you tell us a little bit? Do you have like a way that you work with different women with their different body types? How do you do that, and what types of clothes are great for different people?
So this is such a fascinating question because a lot of times you'll see things where it will show you the triangle shape, the hourglass shape,
Mhm.
the pear shape, the apple shape, and those are guidelines. But I always find with clients too is that sometimes it's everybody's proportions run differently.
Mhm.
So sometimes we're heavier on top, we're smaller on top, we're bigger on the bottom. So I think the thing is that sometimes you have to keep the biggest mistake is don't get heavy fabrics that make you look heavier.
Mhm.
And right now, there's a very popular trend with the boho chic dresses.
Yeah.
And they're very fun dresses. And if you're looking for fun energy, yes. The problem with them is that stores don't always cut everything on the same size.
Mhm.
So if I could give you one rule of thumb to walk away with is your number of size, whether it's small, 6, 5, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, does not matter
Mhm.
because the stores don't cut the same. And sometimes if they go to a manufacturer in India or China or wherever, one cuts bigger and one cuts smaller.
Yep.
So be mindful of the way the fabric falls on your body.
Mhm.
The biggest mistake is that women are making is they think they're trying to hide parts of their body, and usually it's the hips and the stomach. So they go for the baby doll dresses, which are cute, and I love them myself. But if it's too much fabric, it makes you look fuller.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
fabric, how it lays, the print or the pattern will always make you look fuller, and the cut. So for some people, when you have that nice V-neck, if you're fuller on top and bigger chested, the V-neck really will give you a nice, sharper shape. So a lot of people who are on the bigger size will think that they should go with the free-flowing pieces.
Yeah.
Depending on how it falls, for some people, you're better with a structured piece over it. Now, again, it's hard for me to give a bunch of cookie cutter pieces
Of
because
course.
sometimes the weight is if women are a G size in the boobs, but then they have a smaller waist, you don't want to make it look so um, pregnancy.
Mhm.
So they'll go for looser tops, create structure, bring in a little bit more of a structured line. That will create an illusion that there's more shape and definition to your body. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes some women have smaller shoulders and they're a little bit more fuller on the bottom. You kind of want to balance that out. But be careful with things that have a lot of ruffles and a lot of sleeves on them. For some people, it's going to balance it out, but for other people, it's going to make you look bigger.
Yeah.
But the key is, I caution is try it on because sometimes a manufacturer cuts better than another one and they'll have more definition and the cut and the stitching will be different. So there are brands, I encourage people to understand brands are so different. So don't get frustrated and upset with yourself and leave a store feeling depleted. It's that these brands cut differently and some don't have quality fabric and they don't have quality in the way they're designing it. So please never leave a store feeling like it's you. It is
Mhm.
the brand that has created poor quality. And
Yeah.
I think that's so important for women to understand. I've worked in luxury retail. I got to see women coming in and out of things, trying the same things on. And even though you might have a brand that people love so much, 100% of their line, only 10% of it is quality and works for everyone. The rest of it is pretty much junk.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's important to understand so you don't leave depleted like there's something wrong with you. No, it's not. Also note that when it comes to a lot of these brands, if you are on the fuller size, they do have a lot more fuller sizes out there.
Mhm.
But ask. All you have to do is find out what size they go up to. So those are some things that I know that really deplete people when it
Yeah.
comes to this. And then they think there's something wrong with them, but it's not. It's the brands and the creative designers that don't always put a good size chart together. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I love that we're taking the story away from there's something wrong with me. And it's like, this cut doesn't work for me. This size doesn't work for me. This particular brand doesn't work for
Yeah.
me. And it's not about you. And then on top of it, we have this idea that we have to hide ourselves. And you're saying that it's actually not about hiding ourselves. It's about accentuating or making more beautiful the parts of ourselves that we really like to show off,
Yeah.
or that our shape can be honored no matter what the shape is. It's just a matter of finding the right shape, the right structure, and in combination with that, starting with that vision for yourself. Does this make me feel powerful, or does it make me feel like I'm hiding? If we're hiding in our clothes all the time, that's the energy that you're talking about that we're in. So how can I show my truest, most fullest, most beautiful self in the clothes that I'm wearing, in the size that actually works for me, in the shape and the structure that actually works for me, so I can shine and feel confident and amazing? And that's possible. I love that you're making this possible for women.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize because as I said, I did work part-time in there. So I would see a lot of bodies, a lot of shapes, and I would hear the frustrations constantly.
Yeah.
And especially when women say, "Oh, I'm tired of shopping online because everything's just going to come back." Because what you see online, I mean, it used to happen all the time when brands would say, okay, they would send us like a sheet of all the things that were coming in. But when the quality came in, oh my gosh, it was so poor. So
Yeah.
I used to be like, I can look online and I look for things and I'm like, oh, I know that's going to be too draped over. Um, the typical wrap dress that works, but you also have to be careful of the manufacturer, that how they designed it, because sometimes they make those wrap dresses and they don't lie easily because somebody's bigger on the top or if they got the fuller stomach. It just doesn't complement it. It doesn't mean, again, there's anything wrong with you. It's that fabric, that cut, and that style. So if you understand that, you'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah, and those are the types of words and affirmations we can give ourselves, right? It's
Yes.
not me, it's just it's this thing that I put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for all of that insight and all of the ideas about shape and about size and honoring our bodies and affirmations and our visions for ourselves and the words that we can use with ourselves. This is so valuable. Was there anything today that you really wanted to talk about, like a burning desire that you'd like to share with women who might be watching, about the work that you do, or something else that you'd like them to know about clothing or feng shui or anything that you'd like to share?
Biggest thing I would like to say, as you're going into, spring, summer, I don't know where everybody is, but we're in the East Coast and it's kind of back and
Mhm.
forth, is don't deprive yourself of any piece of clothing. It doesn't matter what you're spending on it. It's about you and how it feels right for you. So never say that's not going to work for me. That's not right for me. I can't do that look. It makes me look like this personality or this. There's a lot of that going on. Don't deprive yourself of it. Create a signature look for you. That's what I do with my clients, is understanding what's the difference for you. Your lifestyle matters, who you're becoming, your energy matters, and that is different for everybody. So even though you see a lot of influencers putting clothes on and standing in front of a camera, all they're doing is showing you, they're giving you inspiration. But it's very hard sometimes when you can't relate to that person because your body type is different.
Mhm.
And so don't feel like nobody's supporting you, but understand that clothes, sometimes some people just always have to get them altered. Sometimes you are with a brand for, like, you love this brand, you love this brand, and then they change.
Yep.
It's not you. So a lot of those components, that shopping can be fun. And that's where I bring the joy into it, because
Mhm.
there's so many solutions. But I want people to understand is, don't block yourself from a style or a look because you don't think that your body type can work for it.
Yeah.
Anybody can have it, but it's like you just need to talk, like, to someone like myself who can give you the solutions, who can make you see that this is what your lifestyle requires, this is what your body type requires, and this is what's going to work best for you. And that will change over seasons. So it's not something that should just get stuck in. Evolve, let yourself grow, let yourself create new looks, and let yourself have fun with your wardrobe, because you deserve it. You
Yeah.
totally deserve it.
Oh my gosh, let yourself have fun with your wardrobe because you deserve it. Woo! So
Yeah.
good. Christine, for the women who are watching who are just like, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I would love to work with you. How can we find you? Do you have a website? What's the best way for people to contact you? Instagram. I know you have a special freebie that I'll put the link in the YouTube show notes, as well as the comments in our Facebook group. But how else can we find you like now?
Yeah. So you can find me right now, christinebove.com. And then I put a workshop that I just did about spring wardrobe. And in that workshop, sign up for it, because that's where I show you great examples of outfits, and you can understand the energy and how it works for you. And so sign up for that workshop, because it's really got a lot of great things all about what's spring, the trending, and how to determine the energies that you want to create. And you'll find me on Instagram at CC Bove, and on LinkedIn. You'll find me over there too.
Amazing. I'll put the links in. And this workshop, is this something that's coming up, or is this a recording that you did that you're giving for free?
Yeah, it's a recording that I did a couple of weeks ago, but it was so good that I'm going to let everybody here watching and listening to hump into the call, because it was so good. And there's a great PDF that will help you answer the question where I talked about, creative power and play. How do you determine those keywords for your season?
Awesome. I can't wait to share this with my clients too. It's going to be such a rich and beautiful conversation. Maybe you can pop in sometime and talk to them as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just one last thing, I do
Yeah.
it virtually and in person. So
Yeah.
either way, based in New York City and Connecticut, but virtual or in person, either way.
Awesome. Well, we're so close. I'm sure that you could also do some in-person things, but that's amazing that you can
Yes,
do it virtually. That's beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm going to go ahead and sign us out here, and just thank everybody for tuning in to Off the Scale. And I hope to see you guys next time.
thank you.
You're welcome.